どなたがライアン様をお見えになりたいのですか?
Well, crazy enough, I certainly would say I would. Oh. Okay, so you're gonna follow me
馬さんは
now.
今お忙しいです。申し訳ありませんが。
You know what? The other bodyguards told me the same thing, but I would still like to see Miss Rhyne.
Death Do Us Part, a fantastic thriller short here. These kinds of shorts absolutely hinge their success on the performances, and the central performance of the two stars here knock it out of the park right up into its intense finale, which really leaves you so haunted. Such an inventive way as well that I can honestly say I've never seen before done for a kind of murder-suicide. But it balances also quite well the thriller aspects, delivering on all that while also being a kind of thoughtful meditation on right marriage and relationships and differences and commonalities and all those things. So it has something really substantial to say while also being so visceral and entertaining and terrifying.
Until Death Do Us Part. I thought this was fun. I liked that they kind of set it up as kind of like, cliche of like the bumbling detective that everybody kind of underestimates, but he ends up like completely figuring out exactly what happened when, nobody else kind of thought twice or looked, into it more. And, I thought they played that really, really well. And like hell hath no fury, like a woman scorned. Like at the end of the day, like she did not take well to being overlooked and whatever other slights her husband made or gave her. And I think that it was really fun, and like how they set it up was really great. I loved, obviously it was set in the future, and this kind of mix and combo of implants and advancements and what that will kind of look like and what that will actually end up meaning, and how much of like computer viruses and other things like that will end up affecting things. Because right now, like, those things are annoying, but that's because it's on our computer. If you haven't backed it up, you have to deal with it, or you lose information, you lose whatever. But if it's like an implant in yourself or in someone or someone you love, like, and something happens to like there's some sort of malware or virus or something like that, that's a significantly bigger deal, which I just thought was just like such an interesting concept of, it's like introducing completely new ways to kill your spouse, but also just like what that actually would look like. And I loved the end when obviously the wife has lost her rocker. She's completely lost the plot and is just this like rage monster, and this enhanced rage monster. And you hear the gunshots, you hear the commotion, but you don't see back inside the house. You don't know exactly what happened. You don't know if the detective got out. You don't know if the rage monster actually won. Like, you don't know how that ending truly played out, especially because you also saw the SWAT go in there, or the police, or whoever those guys were. And, by only letting you hear that, the audience gets to take over and play out the end of it however they want to. And I think that there's something so fun about that, and I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I thought it was really fun. I thought they really played into things that are a little bit cliche, but they did it well. I thought it was great.
Until Death Do Us Part. I liked this film. I really wanted more backstory about how things got to where they were and where this is going. So I wonder if this is sort of a part of a feature. And I really liked the characters a lot. I liked all of them, and I really liked the main character, the lieutenant. Although it was interesting because I felt like he was sort of the comic relief, which is normally something you see in a strong supporting character. But he was the lead, and it worked, but it was different to me. I liked him a lot, and what I really liked about it was he was getting on her nerves. And I love the acting and the directing so much because it took time to build up until she just lost it, and it was obvious he was doing it on purpose at one point, but it was funny because I was getting irritated by him, but I loved it at the same time. I just thought it worked really well. All the characters worked really well together. And I love that he was fighting her off with just a plate at the end, although I think he met his demise. But I would have really liked to see more. I don't know, like a prequel. But it's really, really well done. And I appreciated all the effects with the woman with her eyes. She did a great job acting too, because it really was something that did build up for her. It took a minute to get to that point, and sometimes that's not the case where it jumps the gun, and it didn't here. It really it built up that tension and that frustration with her, and it really played out wonderfully. I just wish he had lived. So I'm just curious as to more about this world. So great job and good luck.
Until Death Do Us Apart. What an interesting experience, or interesting film or interesting title for a sci-fi film. There's a lot to like about this. First of all, the production design for a project this short, it was amazing. But beyond that, the acting was top notch. I really like the main guy because he's so funny. He's so awkward. You don't know what to expect from this character, because he's not your typical hero. He's like, let's say, a weird but cool guy at the same time. I liked his character very much, and I love the moment when he grabs the plate and is using it to fight the robot girl. That was hilarious. But anyway, this film feels a little bit like Blade Runner. I think that's the inspiration for it, and if so, kudos, well done. And I liked how it portrays this futuristic world in which we are just dealing with machines that are committing crimes too. It's a disturbing thought maybe, but something we need to be prepared to at some point, I think. So yeah, it was quite an experience. I watched this film twice actually, because I liked it very much the first time, and because it's a very difficult to follow at first if you don't understand what's happening. So yeah, great work. Maybe this could work also as a feature. I don't know. I think that it could be further expanded. In any case, well done, and thanks for sending it.
On Death Tell Us Part, it's always the husband or the wife, right? It's always the spouse that we come to find. But what's so interesting is we have this cop coming over, or detective of some sort, coming to a widow's home to pretty much talk about her husband's death, despite the case being closed. Like, something's not sitting right with him, and he's walking through this. And the filmmakers do a really great job of pretty much showcasing and highlighting the villain in such a way that you recognize her, like, as soon as you see it. I don't know if it's because of these demonic type of features on her face that shows that she may have, like, maybe some human-like advancements, whether there's you can tell that something supernatural is afoot in her appearance, making this a more like fantasy realm in the terms of sci-fi. And so as he's breaking this down, and these robots are taking witness and sort of having this, keeping an eye, like essentially being a fly on the wall almost. We get to have, this slowly like break down and fall apart, and see that there's nothing you're not necessarily surprised to find out when she kills her husband, let me say.